Today's a big day in Port Alberni.
It is a very exciting day for us. This is something we've been waiting for a long time. This has been just a cornerstone project for us over the last few years, and it is very exciting to be at this point today.
And what point are we at?
We are announcing that our chosen development partner for the Somass Lands is a company called Matthews West. They are very well known. They've done some incredible projects in the Lower Mainland. They're just reimagining and recreating the waterfront in Squamish, which is a really well-known development, and we are so thrilled to have them joining us in Port Alberni.
And are we able to get a glimpse of what their plans are for this property?
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of community planning to undergo still, and a lot of master planning that will have many stages of formal process to go through City Council and everything else. But we're envisioning, just as we have from the start, a mixed-use site. We would love to see some residential, some light industrial, some commercial, and then of course a lot of park open space and public use for the waterfront for the people.
I know we are so early in the process, but when are we going to see them on the ground?
Well, really soon, actually. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done still on the site, and they've been working alongside us on some of that work and some of that planning as we make decisions over the last few months, as we did choose them as our developer some time ago, and we've just been continually working on the details and getting to the letter of intent point that we've signed now. But they've been here regularly. They're planning to come again very soon, and they're going to be doing some more public work and public engagement in the next few months.
And I want to emphasize that you chose them. This wasn't like a fire sale where you took the first bid.
No, thank you. And and that's, I think, something that we were so excited about. We went through, of course, a pretty long process to choose the right developer. We got a lot of interest, I think much more than some of us really expected we would. And not just interest from local companies. We did get that as well, and we were really thrilled to see that local companies saw the value of this property. But I would say we really exceeded our expectations of what we had hoped to achieve for interest from outside of the community. And to me, that really speaks to where Port Alberni is going, and that it's not only us in Port Alberni who sees the positive momentum that's happening here, but it's developers and other companies from outside of the community. And we hear it all the time. We're constantly hearing people moving to Port Alberni, choosing to live here because they value the lifestyle or they see the progress that's happening and they want to be a part of it. So it's a really exciting point in time to be at.
Can we talk money?
No, not yet. So what I will say is we are at this point still negotiating our full development agreement. So that's when we get to the point of having a development agreement fully negotiated and signed off on. We're probably a few months away from that still. That is when we will have a firm purchase price, exact timelines, and more certainty on exactly what the deal is going to look like. But what I will say is from the start, we've said publicly to the community that we expect to recoup all of our costs, and that continues to be our intent.
And you said this before, but I just want to emphasize this. This will transform our community.
Yeah, and when we served notice of expropriation on the Somass lands, I remember the Times columnist wrote an article that said Port Alberni poised for transformational change, and that was a really exciting headline for me because that's how I have always seen this site. This site has been something that, from the time it shut down and it became clear that it wasn't going to open back up, I started thinking about ideas, and it really was one of the driving forces in me deciding to run for mayor, because I wanted to have really a lead hand in determining what the future of our waterfront was going to be in Port Alberni. And it is so exciting to now own this property, to have the interest from developers that we've had, and to be in a position where we really will be able to transform our community and recreate what we want and what the community wants there. So it is very exciting. I've been following Matthews West Development in Squamish very closely. They're just getting to the point in time of creating a 10-acre waterfront park. Their plans look incredible, and it's exciting to really envision what we will see here in Port Alberni. And of course, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the community to help inform that vision as well.
How on earth did you keep this quiet for so long?
It's very difficult. Yeah, I mean, we've been really trying to be respectful of our development partners, because the last thing that we would want is for the development partners to feel like they're in a community where they can't trust confidentiality. So when we are negotiating, a significant deal on a significant piece of property, we do have to make sure that we are that we're keeping it confidential. And so it's so confidential that even some high up members of our staff at the city don't know who our developer is. We've obviously worked with our lawyer along the way, we've worked with our development consultant, we've had a few key members of our staff team guiding us, and council of course has been engaged and aware along the way. But it's been really important that we keep who the developer is quiet, just to make sure that we were able to get all of our ducks in a row and agree to all of the items in our letter of intent before we were to make it public. So it is a great feeling to finally be at this point.
What else do you need to say about this today?
I hope that the community sees, I hope the community goes and looks up this group. Matthews West, it really, in my opinion, is leading the way in some sustainable developments. They are, I think, really leaders, again, in the development world in working with First Nations. They've already reached out, and we've worked with Sechat Huipachesset along the way with this as well, which is something I'm really proud of and really grateful for the input that we've had from Sechat Huipachesset. But Matthews West has also reached out and been in connection with them, and really saw that as a priority to make sure that they weren't moving forward without the consent, without engagement with Sechat Huipachesset. So even just that, I think, really speaks to the type of company that we're working with, and I think we're just really excited to jointly build a new waterfront for our community.